Welcome to the Boomer Briefing Podcast, where we help you solve a critical business issue in 20 minutes or less. I'm your host, Jon Hubbard, shareholder here at Boomer Consulting. And we have a bit of a different episode for you today. So if you listen to this podcast, then you know I'm the host, and typically I have a guest here. And we have a conversation about a critical business issue. Well, we're still going to talk about a critical business issue on this episode, but I will be flying solo. So going to be speaking about and sharing with you a topic that really is a blend between kind of the talent side of firms as well as the growth side, talent and growth kind of coming together. And the topic of our episode here are the roles of business development and marketing within an accounting firm. Okay, the roles of business development and marketing within an accounting firm. Now, if you're listening to this and you are not an accounting firm, but you are professional services or something like that, this episode is still relevant for you as well, because what we're talking about here and the shifts in these functions is probably relevant to your organization also. So a couple definitions here, right? Marketing, that definition, pretty self-explanatory. All right. But business development is the phrase I'm using here for essentially sales. Okay. A lot of people don't like to use the word sales in our profession, so we use business development. And I won't kind of fight this battle on this hill today. I believe business development is actually a combination of sales and marketing. However, for the sake of this episode, let's say business development is all about sales and marketing is about marketing. Now, before we talk about kind of the new roles we see, the new functions we see happening in accounting firms and other professional services firms as it pertains to business development and marketing, let's talk about kind of the historical functions. What has been true in the past for each of these functions? Well, from a business development perspective, business development has typically been isolated or expected of just a very few individuals within a firm. And most of the time, the vast majority of the time, that is to a few partners. It is not uncommon for us to work with firms with 20, 30, 40, 50 partners. And really, less than 25% of those partners are focused on business development. And in addition to doing business development, those partners are also responsible for client service, right? Also getting work done, serving clients. So it has definitely been a topic, or definitely been a function in firms that a few were focused on, and that's what they were expected to do for the benefit of the entire firm. Okay, that's kind of the historical summary of that function. Well, let's turn our attention to marketing. Okay, marketing has been a catch-all role or function or position in firms for many years. And as you know, we work with a lot of different firms. So I have seen the marketing function be everything from the person that heads up the party planning committee and company events, all the way to someone that really just does marketing slicks or marketing brochures, to someone that really, to a marketing function that really does nothing marketing related. Okay. Now, those two kind of historical viewpoints of these roles are kind of pretty drastic and kind of pretty stark. And that may not be exactly what's happening or what has happened in your firm. But I think we can say that these two functions or two roles have really started to evolve greatly over the last several years. In some firms, they have evolved much quicker than others. All right. So let's go back to business development and talk about what's currently happening in a lot of firms as they push toward the future in this function. So if business development historically was really isolated to just a few individuals in the firm, right? Well, real quickly, the language started to change several years ago to, well, it's not the job of a few people to sell and to generate revenue. It's actually everyone's job, right? It's everyone's job to sell. So there's all the sales training and sales courses, both in person and virtual, and attending conferences around everyone selling and being good at sales and things like that. And for the most part, that did not work, right? We've all tried it. I've talked with many firms this year about coming in and doing some business development training, and they're all pushing away from, right? They're all coming to us, to me, to say, I don't want that training for everyone, because we realize that's really not working. Okay. So what are firms doing instead? What they're doing are a couple different things. One is they're really getting a true assessment of who in their organization has a passion for generating revenue, right? It starts with passion. Really interested in, I want to be talking with prospects and clients, helping them figure out and better understand their own problems, connecting them with our solutions, and that resulting in revenue for the firm. Sometimes this is partners, other times it's not, in the firm. And let's support those individuals. Let's provide training to those individuals and really get them moving in the direction of generating revenue. And and I said, giving them support, not just training, but support. So that also means, right, firms are figuring out, okay, how do we take some of the old responsibilities of that individual, maybe the more client service focused roles or kind of the technical work roles from that individual, so they can focus more on developing business. Okay. What's also happening are firms are creating brand new roles. Okay. Brand new roles in their organization around business development. Okay. So they are bringing in sales professionals from the outside to plug into these roles also and say, actually, we're going to have a business development team. We're going to have business development individuals where their role is to understand the goals of the firm, the revenue goals of the firm, understand our internal expertise, know the right individuals within our firm, understand what they do, understand the services they can provide, understand who the right targets are for those services, and really go out there and start to build relationships and generate business. So there's a big shift happening in firms of saying, go out and develop business will work for the first 7 years, right? We've probably all heard that. That is no longer true. Okay. There are roles within firms today. And if you don't have this in your firm, I would really examine why and really kind of think about the strategy, around that. But there are roles in firms today that are strictly business development at all levels. And there are plenty of partners out there as well that are really skilled and comfortable in the technical work, and that's what they want to do, and that's what they're going to be doing. So let's not try and get them to do something else, or let's not try and get anyone within the firm that doesn't have a passion and an interest in business development. Let's not twist their arm in trying to get them to do that. Okay. So I talked about that business development role being brought in from the outside, and that person going out, building relationships, and generating revenue for the company. We're seeing this more and more. But another role within business development that we're seeing firms hire, train, and really start to work with the firm is what we call the business development quarterback. Okay. It's someone that is not necessarily the main relationship person. Okay. Sometimes they are, depending on the client or the prospects. But a lot of the times they're not. And we call the business development quarterback because think about, a professional football team that has a quarterback on the field. Sometimes it's their job to run the ball, right? To sell the service, take it all the way through to close. Other times it's about calling the right play, getting people together, talking through the strategy. Here's what we're trying to do. Maybe even getting feedback from, the team, and everyone goes and plays their position. And we all know with all the work that needs to be done every day within an accounting firm, it can be really easy for business development to take a back seat in some of our day-to-day function, week-to-week responsibilities, right? So this quarterback is really tracking all the leads, all the conversations in the works, scheduling calls, keeping things moving, reaching out to people internally and saying, hey, where are we on that conversation? How can I assist with moving that forward? Helping hold people accountable. All right, I could do a whole episode on that business development quarterback role, but we are seeing firms do that. Now, they don't call that role business development quarterback. They call it all sorts of different things, but essentially that's what it is. Okay. And then kind of the last big role in business development, then I'll switch to marketing, that we see business development playing in firms today is really help leading the charge with launching new services. Okay. So the old way of launching services within a firm, right? And most firms are kind of slow with launching new services is, okay, let's get everything figured out. Let's get all the ducks in a row. Let's get everyone on board. Let's, dot all of our I's, cross all of our T's. That may take 6 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years, right? And then we're going to start to get it out to our clients, maybe get out, to our market and start talking about it. That is the old way of launching a new service. The new way, the faster way, the more effective way, the more profitable way, the least costly way of launching a new service is, and I'll just sum it up in one phrase. All right. Sell the tickets, then produce the show. Gary Boomer, our founder here at Boomer Consulting, has been saying this for many, many years. So we take that phrase and use it a lot, but it's all about selling the tickets and produce the show. Well, what does that mean? Right? We could sit here and spend a lot of time talking about the show that we want to produce, the service that we want to create, and all the details around it, right? Who internally is going to play the role? How much is the show going to cost? How much are we going to charge per ticket? What all needs to be figured out so we can put on a flawless show? All these questions. We could sit around the table and ask all these questions and really never stop asking those questions. However, if we focus on selling the tickets first, then what that requires us to do is, answer a few key questions. What problem are we trying to solve for our clients? How might we solve that? Kind of what solution do we think we're going to be bringing to the table? And what type of results or deliverables do we think our clients will receive from that? And then let's go out and start talking with some of our best clients about this, asking them questions related to this service and if they would be interested. And then we're able to get feedback right away from clients and be able to then craft that into the show that we actually need to produce. So we're essentially selling the tickets to help inform us on exactly what show we need to produce. And business development plays a huge role in that. They need to be involved at the very front end of that, as well as marketing. And so let's shift to marketing now, that marketing function in your firm, right? A lot of firms, if they did have a marketing coordinator, a marketing manager, a chief marketing officer, especially with those mid to smaller size firms, that they sometimes didn't quite know what to do with them, right? But the new focus of CMOs, marketing managers, marketing coordinators, marketing directors in your firm, no matter kind of what level you're at in terms of firm size, needs to be focused on strategy. Marketing needs to understand what are the firm's goals, what are their revenue goals, how do those revenue goals translate to number of clients needed. Okay, if we need a certain number of clients for kind of each of these service lines, right? How many prospects do we need in the pipeline in order to get those, right? If we need 10 new clients in each service line, we might need 30 prospects in each service line, right? But building that strategy. So they really have to understand the goals of the organization. It's hard for your marketing leader to perform well and to function well and to really impact the firm positively if they do not understand those goals, right? Another huge area that marketing is playing such a significant role in right now is messaging and communication. Now, those two words mean, a little bit different things. Communication, we can all hear that and say, yeah, marketing has been playing a role in communication, getting communication out to clients, things of that sort. But I really want to emphasize the messaging piece, okay? Especially as firms look to offer advisory and consulting services. So really building upon the success you've had in the compliance area with tax and audit and say, how do we stack more services on top of that? Services that our clients want and aren't legally obligated to get, right? Messaging becomes really, really important. So marketing leaders in firms are really putting time and energy and resources into what words should we be using to communicate our advisory and our consulting services out in the marketplace, because that makes the biggest difference. Logos are great, colors, designs great, not knocking that at all. But if we don't get the words right for how we are communicating our advisory and consulting services, we will lose to most often lesser qualified competitors. Okay. It's all about getting the messaging right. Third area for marketing is really getting their arms around the content strategy for the firm, right? This has been a problem for firms for many, many years. The inconsistency of creating high quality content. Most firms have tried everything from completely outsourcing it, hoping that magically somehow high quality, consistent content comes in, to purchasing content, monthly subscription to content, canned content that you're getting out there. But that doesn't work. And so marketing leaders in firms are figuring out, tapping into resources, coming up with a process that is sustainable and ongoing to be able to produce the quantity and quality of content needed to keep your firm out there. And one of the big last areas I'll say is digital, okay, for marketing. Digital is the future. We all know that. And that is true for our marketing. If you are not tailoring your content, your strategy, your messaging to digital, then you are missing the boat, right? This includes not just your website and not just email marketing and communication, but it has to do with AI, automations, has to do with SEO, has to do with paid social, right? All of that. Digital strategies are essential to your firm's growth. All right. So I covered a little bit about the business development function within firms, covered a little bit about the marketing function in firms. Let's spend just a minute or two talking about the business development and marketing function kind of working together. There has never been a time in the history of our profession where business development and marketing needed to be more in lockstep than now, right? They have to be in lockstep with each other, right? So if business development is the left hand, marketing is the right hand, all right? They have to be a team working together. These two areas cannot operate in a silo. I mentioned that if both business development and marketing need to understand revenue growth goals for the firm, Then they need to work backwards from that to create a strategy, right? So if a firm wants to experience $1 million of growth in their consulting services area, well, how many clients is that? And where do those clients fall within each service line, right? Okay, if we need 10 clients, we might need 30 prospects, right? If we need $1 million in new revenue in consulting, we might need 2 million in the prospect pipeline at the beginning of the year. Okay, just kind of using gross big numbers here to explain the point. And then work back from that strategy. So the activities and the tactics that marketing is applying on a daily, weekly, monthly basis are in alignment with what business development is doing. If business development is going to be focused on a specific service or two over the next 2 months, well, marketing needs to be aware of that. And marketing should have been aware of that before, but marketing needs to be able to support that through their efforts as well. So it's all about business development and marketing being in lockstep. So I hope that helps. That brings us to about 20 minutes here. Just a little bit of the roles and functions of business development and marketing in your firm. If you like this topic or these types of topics, we release new episodes every Tuesday morning. We have not missed a Tuesday morning yet. We're around 40 episodes, give or take, something like that. So we try and be consistent to be able to solve critical business issues for you on a weekly basis. So please subscribe and stay tuned for the next episode. Thanks so much.